What's up, guys? Anavajero here. Wanted to make a video for you guys about my most carried knives. These knives are pretty much the knives I pick up whenever I don't have a specific use. They're just the ones I gravitate to, the ones that I really look forward to using, the ones I enjoy using. Not to say that any of the other ones I don't like, because I do rotate pretty much through all my knives, but these are the ones that are specifically always finding their way in my pocket. I really enjoy carrying these right now. Actually, let me show you guys my newest acquisition, which I'm still kind of in my testing phase, you can say. I'll be taking this one to work today, shredding up some cardboard, seeing how it performs. But so far, really been enjoying this one. This is the Guardian Eagle. I posted a video about it yesterday with some details if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, let's get on to these knives right here. So first, the Kubey coeus. I love this knife. Pretty much everything about this knife, as far as its blade shape, the thinness behind the edge. I like the all-around build and quality from Kubey. They make an excellent product. It's D2 steel, which again, I don't mind at all. Only thing with this is that it's bead blasted, but I kind of have learned to enjoy the bead blast. It kind of shows some markings, which, I enjoy the look of a knife that's being used. I enjoy the scuffs and marks that, a knife ends up having. It's almost like a history of a knife, So I actually like that. I've liked that this one, it shows its wear a little bit, but it cleans up fairly easy. But it just, it looks really, really cool, in my opinion, when you can tell a knife is being used. And I'm definitely using this one whenever I get a chance. The all-around ergos on this feel great in my hand. You got a little spot right here where you can kind of choke up, which I do sometimes. You're jimping right here. The action on this is pretty much what Kubey is known for, and in this particular model, I think it's great. You can't shake out the blade, but it has the perfect amount of tension to where you can just flick this thing out, and it feels light, but it still just pops out every time. Very hard to fail. And yeah, and the drop down, it's on bearings, super smooth, clicks right in. So yeah, this thing is tuned amazingly. One of my favorites, definitely. All right, moving on to pretty much another Kubey. This is a Kubey Royale. This one is in the jade, and this one has a black wash or PVD coated blade. I'm not really into black blades, but during the sale that they were having, they were offering this one and I think another one that was in the bead blast, and I thought, well, D2, might as well get one PVD coated, which I really don't mind. I like the contrast of the jade with the black, and again, the action on this one is ridiculously smooth. This one by far out of all of these, I think has the smoothest drop down action. You got your front flipper here. You got the hole for reverse flicking, which I didn't mention, but this one, your finger falls in the perfect position of reverse flick, and you can get it with the thumb quite easily. So this one is great, both thumb flicker and middle finger flicker or reverse flicker. Where in this case, this one, it's more of a reverse flicker and a front flipper. And you can get it with the thumb, but it's, it's kind of hard. You can definitely slow roll it, but it's kind of hard to get it with the thumb. But the all-around design of this really speaks to me. I really enjoy the blade shape on this. I feel like it's great for just everyday use. You got your jimping right here. It's super comfortable with this little cutout right here, this little ramp that you can just put your thumb on. And it's super comfortable in hand. The actual handle is just very, it's very simple, but it has some cutouts here. I'm not sure if you're able to tell, to where when you hold it in hand, it just really feels comfortable. really ergonomic. Not really too much going on with the handle, but it's just perfect for just bearing down. And then again, look at that. It just wants to drop down. I mean, this thing is super smooth on bearings. The action is, I mean, pretty much addicting. You just want to open and close this thing over and over again. It is light, the tension on this to open it, but it, you know, it doesn't pop out. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera now. But yeah, you can try and shake the blade out and it's not gonna pop out. So yeah, it's again, Kubey. Their tensions that they put on their action, on their blades or their knives, sorry, it's just great. It's always something that Kubey does right, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. So yeah, I already scuffed it up a little bit here. So again, this is why I don't like the PVD coating, because I always end up marking it up a little bit too much. And a black blade that shows markings doesn't look as good, in my opinion, as a satin or a bead blast. It just looks, you know, kind of shitty. But oh, and this is D2 again. Don't mind it. I live in Las Vegas, so it's super hot here. It's a dry heat over here, and you know, I don't get too much of what is it called, rust forming on any of my knives. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that. This is a CM design. Really enjoy the look that he has as far as his knives and the designs he carries out with Kubey. I've been looking at the Kubey hide also. That one looks pretty interesting to me as far as the all-around design. And obviously all the Devo knives that he does as well also look really, really attractive to me. But yeah, this is a great knife. They had these recently on sale on Kubey and the eBay Kubey for $30. So that was insane for what you're getting. Great knife. All right, so next up we got the Crkt Pilar 3. This one I really enjoyed when I got, but it just felt like something was missing. This came with black G10, and the G10 was fine. The only thing is that the G10 wasn't very rounded off. It had, you know, some sharp edges, which this whole knife in general, I feel like it does suffer from that. It does have a couple sharp edges. You can knock them down with some, you know, fine grit paper. But it just feels like they left a lot to be desired as far as the finish and all around, you know, quality control. But, you know, it is a really, really nice design. I love this design. The all-around blade shape and the ergonomics of the handle, they are amazing. This thing melts in your hand. This is probably the most comfortable knife out of all these. It's thin enough to where it feels super comfortable, and the action on this is amazing as well, actually. This one and the Royale are probably the ones that you're gonna get the best action out of. But yeah, I ended up getting from Flightanium these micarta scales. It's a green micarta, but it looks almost kind of brownish. And it has a little bit more chamfering here, a bit better finish, you know, all around on the actual handle. So it just gives you that little extra. I did have movement on the actual blade here, some up and down that I had to fix, you know, I had to correct. I went in there with some sandpaper, took the blade off, disassembled, took the blade off, sanded down some edges that were a bit too unfinished, and now it locks up like a vault. No movement at all, super solid. Absolutely love this knife. I flame blued the pivot here to give it kind of that bronze look, just to kind of tie it in. And yeah, this is also D2. Sadly, D2 and maybe 14C28N is kind of the more popular knives in my collection, kind of, you know, the budget steals that I can afford. But yeah, again, this thing performs awesome. It's a thick blade stock, but it comes down really thin with the flat grind here. So it is super slicey in my opinion. And again, you can just really bear down on this knife and feel super comfortable to just cut for, you know, long amount of times. You're not gonna get tired of holding this in hand. Nice fine tip on there. Again, the all-around design, this is a Voxnest design, I absolutely love. I love the stuff he's doing with, I believe it's MKM, and with the, you know, Biblio and Giant Mouse. All those are, you know, very similar knives, just because, you know, he has a similar design language to those. But in my opinion, this is a very underrated knife. I mean, people love this knife. I think this is a classic, but I mean, just even adding the micarta on here, it just gives it a look, in my opinion, that it's way more expensive. You know, this design all around is amazing. You got a frame lock here. You have, I believe, better access with this micarta scale to the actual liner. And this thing also just drops down as soon as you press in that liner. Yeah, this was one of my favorites. And it's crazy how you can just change one thing on a knife and it just becomes completely different. You know, it just becomes something that you enjoy much more just by one little thing, which is changing the scale. So yeah, anybody that has, you know, knives, I recommend you open them up, clean them, oil them, do your own things to them, and then also maybe mod them. Get scales, get, you know, maybe different screws, hardware. You know, there's so many things that you can do to your knives that can just make an old knife feel brand new. So yeah. Next up, another classic, the Cjrb Pyrite, the Warranty Edition. This thing is the snappiest one I own, at least, knife in my collection. Super snappy, super satisfying when I open this. It's a button lock, so it's not, in my opinion, as good as a frame lock as far as like security. But Cjrb does a really good job with their button locks. They make a really solid product. The all-around finish and QC on all this is great. I believe they do, you know, some of the best knives under, you know, $60. And the all-around stonewash on this is beautiful. I love this stonewash. The stonewash on this also stainless steel handle looks amazing. It gives it that beautiful sounds and acoustics that you're looking for when you open a knife. This is definitely made for somebody that enjoys, you know, just fidgeting with a knife. It's gonna make all the sounds and all the clicks and clacks that you want to hear. You got your deep carry pocket clip. This pocket clip rides amazing. And then since it's just steel right here, this thing just slides in and out of your pocket amazing. And a theme I think that you're seeing is all these are holds, you know, hold deployment. That's pretty much what I'm into. That's what I've learned that I like. It's pretty much the most satisfying way for me to open a knife and the most convenient. A lot of the times, you know, I'll see a knife that I enjoy, but, you know, it might be, you know, a back flipper, or it might have thumb studs, which I do have some thumb studs, but I just enjoy the deployment hole. It's just the best way of opening for me. And this blade is so amazing to use, and it's super slicey. I mean, it comes down super thin at the tip. You can really get in there and make precise cuts, or you can just bear down with this finger control right here and just get into cuts. It's super, super slicey. This one right here is a no-brainer as far as like if you want to just buy a knife and be set. I mean, you don't have to get any other knife. You'll be good with this one. But all around, I mean, you're gonna have a super slicer with this one. Yeah, and the jimping right here, just all the ergonomic, you know, chamfers that they have set in here, it just makes it super comfortable. I personally didn't like aluminum handles or stainless steel handles before I got this one. I had tried a couple different ones, and this one just really made me like them. I don't think I like all aluminum or steel handles just because they feel, you know, kind of slick to me, which this one does kind of, but it's just something about this really speaks to me, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, this one's a great knife. I mean, I think there's thousands of videos out there just telling everyone how good these pyrites are. But this Warney one, I think, is the standout. Definitely one of my favorites. All right, and lastly, we have the Kizer Mini Roach. This is going to be in 154 cm. And again, that blade shape, sorry, it's a little dirty. That blade shape is amazing. I'm a sucker for a, you know, maybe leaf or, you know, sheep's foot, Warncliffy type of blade shape. And this thing is amazingly ground. Has a hollow ground here. The little cutout, or not cutout, I always call it cutout, but it's like the grind here that they put on this is amazing. Again, you got your finger hole deployment, amazing, very close knit jimping here, which gives you super security with the choil to really just grip this thing. This one's also super comfortable. I'd say between the the Crkt pilar and this one, they're pretty close. I prefer this one because it's a bit smaller. This one's a bit thicker in hand, so it does feel a little bit chunkier, but it's still super comfortable. It'll depend really, you know, on your preference, on your hand size, you know, all that. But this one was made to hold. I mean, everywhere you look, it was thought about of where your fingers are going to go and how much more comfortable they're going to be in every position that you put them, whether it be like this or with the choil. So yeah, this thing is super comfortable, super slicey. This is probably the thinnest one I own as far as like the grind and the blade stock. It's super slicey. Again, you got the hole deployment. This one you can get it with your thumb, so you fit pretty good with the thumb right there. It came with a flipper, but the cool thing about this is that you're able to remove it. They put in a T6 screw there with the flipper, and it flipped great and everything. But again, I prefer the the hole deployment, so I removed it. So that was really cool of Kizer, just kind of thinking out of the box and thinking, well, if somebody doesn't like the flipper, we can, you know, make it removable. That was pretty awesome. I think more companies need to do that, just so there's a little bit more variety of, you know, preferences, people that might want just the hole deployment. And yeah, all around, some people don't like how this knife looks. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks great. The, you know, honeycomb kind of like G10 texture here, although it's completely flat, it's still comfortable. I wish they would have given it a little bit more roundness to the edges here and like chamfered it off. But all in all, I think it's a really solidly made knife. I mean, Kizer makes amazing knives, and the quality is just, you know, it's known. You got a G10 backspacer here, kind of giving you that little extra sense of security and grip when you're squeezing down on it. So it feels awesome. The only thing I don't really enjoy from this knife is the clip. The clip seems to be, I mean, it's a good clip, but it just kind of hangs up a little bit for me, and I've had to retighten it maybe once or twice. Other than that, I mean, this is an amazing slicer, and you can get a lot of good use out of, you know, something like this with a hollow grind. You'll really enjoy cutting with this. And just as far as like cardboard and stuff, man, this thing just flies through it. So yeah, this is, and again, the stonewash, beautiful stonewash from Kizer. Makes it super nice and slick too. So yeah, just all around the design. And this is a matte, let me double check before Matt Degman design. So I want to give props to all the designers, just because, you know, once I find a designer that I like, I start looking into all their stuff, and you know, he has some really cool designs as well. So yeah, guys, this is the Kizer mini roach, and yeah, those are the knives that I have been enjoying recently. If you guys have any knives that you guys have been enjoying recently, go ahead and drop them down in the comments. Or if you guys have any questions about these, go ahead and drop them down in there as well. I'll go ahead and leave my email also for any inquiries. And I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. See you on the next one.